welcome to the FinTech OS Evolve podcast. I've travelled again into Europe and I'm here in Serbia, Belgrade, first time for me. And I'm delighted to have Nevenka here. We've just quickly rushed in a taxi cab to get here. We've just done a panel discussion about digitalization, modernization, strategy, and of course, AI as well. But why don't we start, Nevenka? Tell us a bit about your role and the bank that you operate in, and just to set the context.
Yeah, I work in a bank, in NLB Komercijalna banka here in Belgrade. The bank is a part of the NLB group. Currently, I manage banking products delivery. Actually, if we would go to the terms like in history, that would be back office. And I am a part of various projects involved in the strategy and very much working on efficiency in our bank.
Yeah. Now, usually I do the introductions, but I was going to trip over how to pronounce your bank, and I was so afraid of doing it, which is why I got you to do it this time round.
Excellent.
So thankfully, you've taken the burden off me, and I will now refer to it as the bank from now on, just to save myself any embarrassment. But you say you've been at the heart of product delivery here for your bank in Serbia, and we just spent the morning talking about digital transformation versus modernization, and I guess the difference between the two. What's your take on that here for NLB and of course for the region itself?
Yeah, I mean the transformation is for sure happening. The transformation in I would say changing the mindset of our people. The transformation also from the technological point of view, for sure, because that goes hand in hand, especially in these days. And I think that's happening all over the market because things are changing so fast. The technology is evolving so fast that we actually need to be faster and evolve as we go, actually.
Yeah, and I guess everybody's stuck on quite an old core, and I guess how you build upon that so you can address those agility and the speed to market and the new products that's going to come out here in the region. It's pretty fundamental.
Yeah, it is. Actually, in the terms of a project manager, I would say we are far from waterfall, which was the way to go for years and years, right?
Yeah.
We are really focusing on delivering our projects in smaller pieces to have the smaller wins, but the wins are here.
Yeah.
With that, we motivate the colleagues that work on the project, and that's the key point of every project are the people behind it. The technology, of course, is the enabler, but people and business need to know why the technology is how.
Yeah.
So that's a big step out of the system and the way of working before. Towards
and everybody seems to be taking that approach now. The days of kind of big bang transformations are kind of disappearing, and that more modular approach, taking things in bite-sized chunks, delivering value, confidence, momentum. Not very often a CTO, CEO, or board will start a digital transformation that is finishing in 3-5 years' time, and you look back, and a lot of the executives aren't even there anymore, so they've forgotten what they've done it for, or they've been moved on because it hasn't delivered the value that they're expecting.
Yeah. Those days are definitely over. We are constantly looking to have minimal viable project deliveries. And that means that gives us the opportunity that we are really agile. So have a small piece done, put it into production, see if it works. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe we are too late. Maybe we did it wrong. Maybe we didn't listen to the customers good enough. We didn't understand their needs. So that is actually where we are, the way of working. We do still, of course, have projects. We do have the vision. We do have the strategy that has to be there. But to get there, we take it step by step, much faster with delivering or failing fast, if I may say so.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's also important.
Yeah, and you said before, like the mindset and the culture to be able to deliver that way in smaller chunks. It takes a lot to change that in our old-fashioned bank that has been doing it in the same way in so many years. But I think you said at the opening game, it's not necessarily the technology that fails; it's the people.
It's the people. It's always the people. It has always been the people.
Yeah.
We just didn't maybe recognize it strongly enough.
Yeah.
We focused on the technology in the past. This time we do know with the AI coming really strongly, right?
Yeah.
We do need a new mindset. So in our bank, we have this initiative on the bank level, how we engage people on the operational level. Of course, we do have top management support. We do know where we're going.
Yeah. The strategy's set, everybody on board.
The strategy's there. But everybody has to be on board, not just the management. I mean, we need to have our people on board.
Yeah.
So we started actually looking for some champions in our bank that were interested in new technologies or something new, whichever works, whatever works, maybe a way of work, maybe the technology, not always. And we started spreading it from bottom up,
the ground
actually.
up,
Yeah. So especially in the operations of the bank where I'm a part of, we have started building these little improvements and started communicating to the whole team, the team of 100 or 200 people. We've done this. Look, think about it. Think about how it can help you maybe tomorrow. It takes time, of course. It doesn't happen overnight.
Yeah.
But if you work on it, now it's here. We have the culture here that I can easily say that every person in operations, and now we are spreading all over the bank, thinks about, why am I doing this way? Can this be
constantly
done?
Questioning it.
That's the constant improvement mindset that we are building, actually. And we have the momentum now. We have results already.
Yeah.
And when you have the results, it's much easier to onboard everybody. You have the buy-in. And especially important when you have the buy-in with the seniors, because it's not always about the young people. They usually are the first on board, of course. They're interested in new things.
Yeah.
But the seniors, I mean, we were very happy, very impressed. We have colleagues in my team that are really seniors, doing their work for 30 years, the same way. We said, let's try and find another way. Let's look on the market what can help us do our jobs efficiently, and maybe learn something new. And they were on board from day one that we started with this little project that we had. They were on board, and imagine the seniors being able now to understand how AI solution works, how the models are trained. Imagine the buy-in from other colleagues. Then.
I agree. Yeah. And it's a big part of your role is aligning those business stakeholders and the technology stakeholders together to come to deliver a customer outcome, a project, a program in a successful way, and having champions to be the voice of that, and often maybe picking the detractors across the bank and converting them into promoters is a key way. And I think you said something, and I referred back to the panel we've just come from, which is stuck in my head, which is listening to the quietest voice in the room.
Yeah.
And that's so super important. And a few people come up to me afterwards and said, you know what, I don't do that. Actually, I listen to the biggest and loudest. But actually, some of the greatest ideas and maybe some of the barriers and some of the insights come from people who are just maybe not as comfortable in group settings or speaking up. But that's something you promote.
Yeah, and I promote it because I have failed before in some of the tasks because
and that's brave
of this.
to admit it and to say it, and you've learned from it.
I mean, I don't have problem with admitting it because this is the only way we can learn.
Absolutely.
Actually as human beings.
Yeah.
That's my opinion. So I've learned now that every team, whether it's from business, whether it's from technology, they have to sit together. Whether it's external vendor, we have to accept everybody. We are the same team. It's not them, it's not us. And then to add to that, always be aware of the quietest person in the room, because most often they have something relevant to say. Maybe they're not comfortable, as you said. Maybe, I don't know, they're scared of some, there are always the relationships between colleagues.
Yeah, the politics of it.
The politics of it. Yeah, that has to be taken into consideration. So the quietest person in the room, you don't need to address him, to ask him in front of everybody. If you see, and you have to actually concentrate to see that, if you see that the person doesn't speak, maybe later on, maybe offline, if it's online meeting, let's say, and just nicely approach the person and say, what do you think about it? And these people often have good remarks, things that you can address on time. And then these people often feel, I knew that. I said it, but he didn't say it maybe at the right time.
Yeah.
And nobody heard him. So, yeah, that's a lesson learned,
Yeah.
actually. It's a really an experience.
I think politics plays a huge role in that. But we keep circling back to this mindset and change of the culture that everybody have a voice. And actually, if you're trying to fundamentally change how a bank operates or, a new initiative, the people who have been in that organisation for 20, 30 years, that they hold so much intelligence about how things are truly done, not how they've been written, how things are truly done, how customers truly get around, how the staff work their way around systems, the little niches and that's where the efficiencies come from, actually cutting out those levels that just don't need to be done. So I think it's really brave, and it's interesting how you then translate that into Serbia as a market, because we're here today. We've just done a panel. We've had many banks here talking about these subjects, and obviously I'm not from Belgrade, so I find it really interesting. Are the banks here ready for this element of transformation and modernisation? How early are they in the journey?
I would say we are pretty much at the same stage of this journey. We are aware, everybody's aware that transformation has to start, but I would say actually it started in all of the banks, the transformation. It's visible through different channels that you can see they're opening, through different solutions that they're giving to the market.
Yeah.
Everybody's here, but everybody, we are learning actually how to do it. And one model doesn't fit every bank. Of course, it depends on what you're focusing in.
Yeah.
So every bank has to recognize where is their human value, in where are the values of the team that are here, and how to build on that.
Yeah.
Because again and again, as I say, and I will probably say a few more times, the technology is the enabler. It's not the thing that you should fit to, but you need to get the best out of it, but fit it to your business cases. And that's a bit different for every bank. It depends on the target market that they have or the niches that they work on. But I think we are all here. I would say not just in Serbia. I would say in Europe also, maybe.
Yeah. I mean, you're from Slovenia? So.
Yeah, I'm from Slovenia. I would say in Slovenia also the transformation in the manner of learning how to do things differently. Again, I'm returning to the mindset of the people, right? Because technology is there. There's so many different technologies. We can always pick one and do. But
how do you pick? So you say it's such a fast-moving market now, with new technology players, new initiatives, things that we think we know today, even tomorrow they're changing, because that's how fast-paced this is. How do you and your bank, look and prioritize these initiatives, or evaluate them and say, this is the one for us, and not just for today, but for tomorrow as well?
Well, it's a bit tricky these days.
Yes.
Of course, you need to have the strategic view on where, first, the business, right?
Yes,
where you want to go.
Yeah, that's right.
What do I need to get there? That's the first thing that you're asking. Where is the value for the customer? Always customer first, then employee experience. So how do I get there? And then when we go, sometimes we have internal development, sometimes we work with the partners. It's a combination. And that's okay. It's healthy this way, I think. But when we decide, okay, that's the solution we want to have, we see something on the market, we go into the processes of procurement, of course, as we have to. And lately we decide, okay, this one fits best today, and it can fit for a year, 2, 3, but we are aware that within this period of 1, 2, 3 years, it depends, there will be new things on the market, maybe much better. Also, it's on the partners, if this is a partner solution, that they evolve their technology.
Yeah, they need to constantly invest in their platforms.
Yeah, they need to constantly invest, and from the other side, we need to constantly follow what's happening. And so actually strategically, we don't sign contracts for 10 years anymore. I mean, it wouldn't make sense at all.
No, it's just you're just locked in.
Yeah, you're just locked in, and then you have an issue because maybe somebody is not able to deliver what you need.
Yeah.
So my latest experience was we signed a contract for 3 years.
Yeah.
But within these 3 years, we today already know, we have implemented this, but we today already know that there are better solutions on the market. Of course, we expect the provider that we have today to also upgrade the solution. But maybe we will check the market within this time of the 3-year period and see maybe to change. Because today to add another satellite in our technology stack, right? It's not that hard anymore. It's not like it used to be, the integrational, because we are much more mature in that manner. Constantly researching the market, but of course we need to do the job, so we need to take the decisions sooner rather later, I can say. And that's the way we do things.
I think you're right. I think it's on technology platforms to really be aligned with banks' vision and where they're trying to get to. And banks need to be open about what their strategy is and not be a closed door, and actually talk really openly about it and be honest that maybe they're in retail banking and they want to move into SME or capital markets or corporate. And then the platforms look at their capabilities and be honest about where that roadmap sits, where they can solve the problem today and work with you and co-create, co-design the future aspects of the proposition you want to deliver. But you hear this term partnership all the time, and I sometimes use it a bit loosely, but a true partnership is where the bank and the ecosystem provider are truly working together and they're informing each other's roadmap. So not only is the bank saying, actually, we're going to get capital markets, can you help co-design some customer journeys and products? But it's then also the provider going to the bank, actually, you know what, we're talking to a lot of people, it's a niche here for you. It's, young savers, and actually the big banks aren't interested, and here's a couple of features that we think could be really cool. And that becomes a true form of partnership, brings loyalty. And suddenly then you're in a 3-year, it's a no-brainer to be, that's the partnership for you, and you can grow. And I think that level of honesty is starting to get there, and I'm starting to see it as well, where banks are okay with that. And so it just gets abounded back to. And the other thing I'd say about, you was talking about digital transformation and human element. If I could change one thing, I would switch the two words around, and rather it be digital transformation, I'd call it transformation with digital, because so much emphasis gets put on the word digital that people forget to transform.
Yes, that's exactly why I always emphasize the people. The people. The technology is here. Yes, we are digital, but the people are important. The people, of course, from one hand, the people that work in a bank, so our employees, and from the other hand, our customers.
Yeah.
I mean, we are here for our customers, right?
Yeah.
So I agree totally with your proposal to change it.
Switch it around.
Switch it around.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I guess all these initiatives, and they're endless, right? They cost money. Let's be honest about it. They cost a lot of money, and there'll always be skepticism on: are they going to deliver? First of all, are they going to deliver the customer outcomes? That's the key thing. But also, are they going to have if there's a CFO in a room, would say, are they going to return on the investment? And I guess there's two sides of the coin, which is, you're going to spend money to make money ultimately. Nobody's a charity. But there's also we need to do this because if we don't do it, here is the outcome. So it's going to cost money. It might not even return, but if we don't do it, we're going to lose our customers to competitors down the road, or we just got to do it to keep the wheels turning, or fear of missing, whatever it might be. So I know you do, but you've seen a few business cases in the past, and how do you start to measure them, and what's the KPIs and the metrics that you truly measure to see if they're success or not?
Well, we truly measure the processes, the efficiency of the processes when it comes to the processes of the bank, right? Yeah. From the other hand, we measure, of course, our profit through our fees and interest rates. So that's another metrics. But it all comes down to each individual business case. Behind every idea, there should be a business case.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Maybe at the end of this business case, there's just a competition is here. They are all on this train, and we need to join the train.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's that. In majority of cases, of course, we always try to find something that we can either lower the costs or make more profit. Of course, we are a bank.
Yeah.
But the business cases are crucial. And again, it depends on the case where we look for the benefits, because benefits can be different. I think when we discuss efficiency as a business case, at the end, this efficiency should be seen also towards the customers. How? We are faster, most probably, if we are efficient.
Yeah.
We are faster. Maybe we have done something on the quality of our deliveries, right? Yeah. And that comes from this efficiency also. So I think it's hand in hand. It's not either one or the second, but it's somehow connected. And I say this a lot of times to my colleagues when we are discussing internal processes within my team and what can we do more about it and how can we be faster and more efficient. And there's always somebody that asks, but what does the customer has out of this?
Yeah.
I mean, we are investing our money into this.
Yeah.
But of course, the customer has, at the end, if nothing else, on time, whatever we need to deliver, and with the exact data as we are obliged to give them, as we are regulated, and faster.
Yeah.
That's important from the customer.
Yeah, the voice of the customer is really interesting. There was a story, I can't remember who it was. I think it might have been Amazon, or it was one of the big tech companies, that whenever they have a board meeting, they always leave an empty chair. And the reason empty chair is because they say, what does the customer think? They point to the empty chair. And it's always the comeback. And it's interesting because ultimately, even in Serbia, the expectations of a customer is no different to a customer in the UK, in Moldova, in Romania, even in the States. It's being digitally enabled. The next generation, or even my son's 18, that generation of new customers expect banking at the fingertips.
Interesting that you're mentioning this, because I had an opportunity to work with a group of students.
Yes.
We have a program that we invite students that are actually still studying to our bank to get to know the banking. They're not necessarily students of economy, but to get to know the banking. And I had the opportunity, and it was a great pleasure to work with 4 wonderful girls. Well, women. I've asked them after the discussion how the bank works, how we operate, how much we are regulated, and where we are towards the digitalization and so on. And I said, what do you expect? You're 20, 21. Yeah. What do you expect from a bank? And all 4 said, I don't ever want to step into the branch. This is all I need. Here's my phone.
Okay. Yeah.
Here's my phone. That's all I need. So make sure you're there. So, we all know that, right? We all are thinking about it. It doesn't matter if you're 20, 30, 40. Actually, in these days, who wants to go to the branch? But the message was so strong, so loud. Actually, don't even think about if you want to attract us as the younger generations, and we need to attract, of course, the younger generations. If you want to have us as your clients, then don't make me go to a branch ever. Yeah. Right. So that's I think very important and very good
I think it is. My son recently opened up. Look, he come from a family of bankers. My dad was a banker 40 years before me, so it's not a new concept for him. But even as an 18-year-old, he had to open up his first kind of student account with many banks. And we looked at so many of the big banks in the UK, and we got so far in the process. And he's like, Dad, I'm bored. No, this is just hard work. And he just wanted the path of least resistance. And so you then step to the neobanks that give this fantastic app experience. Now, we all know that there's not much behind that, but they've capsulated that young audience that want the banking at their fingertips, and they make it as fun as it possibly could be to onboard and to open a bank account. Loads of features that are relevant for that card rate, this kind of hyper personalization of features that are at life stages of people's. So they've really captured that market, and then in the post came a physical debit card. He kind of looked at it and went, what do I do with that? And he literally, I mean, he's moved. He's gone to university now. That bank card is still in his desk at home. He's never going to use that bank card. It's on the phone. It's Apple Pay or whatever it might be. And it just made me giggle because I thought,
yeah, that's it. That's today. That's it.
Today.
That's it for the younger. That's absolutely it. Our generations, if I may say so, we are still. Of course, I have everything on the phone.
Yes.
But I always carry, just in case, my card with me. Maybe the phone will not work. Maybe something happened, right?
Yeah.
But I also see this with my daughter. She's 27 years old. The phone is her life.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
There's no discussion about it. So, being able to follow that expectation, to deliver on that expectation, that's a job because... realistically, that affects also the business models of the banks in the future. And that future is not so far away.
Yeah.
As you mentioned already, some of the other competition that it's not the banking industry, but they have it. They have all these gadget features that are very interesting, right? So the banking models, I think, in a very near future, will have to adapt to this new reality that we are living in, and whoever doesn't adapt, well, most probably will not be for long on the market.
Just to make you feel better, in my pocket I do still have debit cards and I still have some cash. I can't remember where I used it. I even got some local currency just in case. Because it's just in case. What happens if they don't accept Apple Pay? What if they don't accept a card? I better have some cash. If my son arrived here yesterday, as I did, and I had to order a taxi and pay cash on a card, he wouldn't get very far. And he'd be like, but his response would be that this is terrible. It's a terrible experience. Yeah. And his entry point into the country would be like, this is
a bad experience.
Yeah, a bad experience. This is digitally enabled. How can I possibly operate as a human being without using my phone to make payments and to schedule things? And
my advice to my daughter when she travels always is, do a bit of a checkup on the country that you're traveling to, because different countries are in different stages of the involvement of digital, right? There are some countries which there's still a lot of cash. So do a bit of a research. Just be prepared that you don't land on the airport and you cannot get a taxi because you don't have a cash. Because also ATMs are now being withdrawn from the markets very much. Yeah. Also on the market of on the area of the European Union, there's quite a strong push towards withdrawing the cash out of
society.
The cashless society. Yeah. There are some fights back now, of course. Expected, if you ask me. But the younger generations, absolutely. Digital, end-to-end digital. Yeah. They don't care how in behind that works. And this behind part that actually is the bank as today is, will for sure be changed in a few years, how it will look, how many people will be needed with different skills actually. Maybe the number will not drastically drop, the number of employees, maybe not, but the skills will be different, right? The expected skills to have on daily, on your job, to operate with this is for sure changing. Yeah.
How is your bank doing in terms of this digital onboarding, having a great onboarding journey for current account savings, for retail, for SME, even into lending? How are you getting on in that journey?
Yeah, we are on the journey. For some segments, we already are there. Good, for some, we are still working. We also have some legislation maybe that needs to be addressed or maybe challenged a bit.
Yeah, absolutely.
But this is absolutely something that I think on the level of the country it needs to be actually from the, if not nothing else from the bank side, banks needs to push it, right? Yeah. And this transition will take some time, but it's possible already today. So we are on the journey, working on it, and pretty sure next year we will be fully digital also for the onboarding side. Yeah. Yeah. So.
And you are also slightly AI enabled, right? So you've actually started playing with some AI tools and some AI initiatives, and we've talked before around a lot of these do fail, and it's okay to fail fast. Is as you say, it's part of the process, and having the mindset to try something and it doesn't work and quickly recycle back and try something new. But you've you and your bank have actually deployed an AI initiative, and it's, I won't spoil the surprise, but it's been successful, and you can actually measure it.
Yeah, it's really successful, and we of course are measuring it. We did plan, we did prepare the business case, we did the assessment, and actually it all came true. So we are very successful, yes, in that part. Maybe to mention before AI, in the past few years, we have strongly really had a push on the development of RPA.
Yep.
I don't know, it's not a new technology.
No.
But it's easy to use, it's easy to deliver the RPAs, and we have built a wonderful community within the bank that now everybody knows that our colleagues are also robots, as we call them.
Yeah.
We didn't give them names yet. I don't know why. But there's many of them. Yeah. Maybe we would run out of names. But on top of that, when we saw that actually RPA is fantastic for some repetitive tasks,
yeah.
We started of course, in the operations. Now we are spreading the knowledge on how to use it and for what actually can it be used. Yeah. And on top of that, we started playing with AI.
Yeah.
When I say playing, I mean we gave the opportunity to a big number of our colleagues to have AI tools.
Yep.
Now these AI tools are all the same on the NLB group level. Mm-hmm. And actually we said for the first, few months maybe, let's play with it. Let's learn what it can do, what it cannot do. So again, within my team, I said, whatever you think of, give it a chance. Give them the task, give the instructions. We had the education on how to write prompts. Yeah. We did all that. Yeah. And then I said, just try it with whatever you are doing on a daily basis. And here is where we had expectations in some ways, quite big expectations. Mm-hmm. And here is where I can say maybe our expectations, rather I can say I was disappointed because for some business cases, it was like, be fast, be first, and with that we also failed first, right? But it was okay. It was not in production. It was something that we were playing with. Yeah. We also discovered during the time that we are playing with it that for what actually we can use it, and it's a fantastic assistant to each and every employee if they are willing to use it. Yeah. And on top of that, now I'm coming to the AI success story so far. We have implemented one of the AI partner solutions, so it's not built within the bank. Yeah. We've made sure that all the security that it's needed through regulation and whatever is covered, so we are fine with that. And then we implemented into the end of June into our first process, one of the AI tools that we have. And actually confirmed the KPIs that were set. So actually from 35 minutes to 2 minutes of being done the work, right?
Yes, fantastic.
And maybe the biggest win here is that the seniors got involved. I mean, for everybody, that was the biggest surprise, I would say, because the seniors actually today are using this solution, working with it daily, seeing the results, and if needed, even do the changes in the models that are set. Okay, I mean, they have learned so much about the solution, and the solution is so user-friendly that actually the employee can do some changes within it. Sure. And that's what we're looking for, right?
That's fantastic.
Not to be dependent on our internal IT or the provider, but we have a chance to do it ourselves.
Yeah, you have the keys to the car.
We have the keys to the car. I mean, that's fantastic. So the efficiency here was absolutely as we expected it to be.
It sounds like it's leading from the top, because actually if you get that senior buy-in and people see that, that's just an extra motivation for, well, if they're using it and they're trusting it, then we absolutely need to ourselves. So it's great that you get that buy-in.
We do have. I mean, the support from top management is fantastic. I can honestly say that. And the buy-in on the operational level, as I mentioned in the beginning, that's where the magic happens when you have the buy-in on operational level. Actually, that's where the magic happens, because this is a step-by-step approach, and if you are successful with something that you're doing and you show it and you say to everybody who's interested, right, come and see, let us show you what we've done.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are interested. I know we often say that people don't like changes, but they're curious. If nothing else, they're curious, right? So a lot of people come and want to see what we've done.
Yeah.
And then they start thinking, oh my God, maybe I can use that in my process. But maybe just not to forget, because I didn't mention it, and it's very important, always start with the process. Because there's a hard rule that I really follow. Don't robotize, don't implement AI, don't do anything if the process is not good.
Absolutely agree.
Yeah. So that's also one of the key points.
I often see, I have seen, really speak globally, some of the old shops that I used to work at where they would go out and buy a new piece of technology, and it doesn't quite fit the way they do it today. Not necessarily in the first line, but maybe in second line functions, the risk functions, where they'd end up trying to shape the technology to fit their current process, rather than shape the process to fit the technology and then evolve with it. So you end up spending all this money to do something exactly the same, but you're a couple of million down. Yeah. And that we keep going back to culture, mindset, and the kind of keep constantly asking why we're doing this, why we're doing this, why we're doing this. And I
mean, to be honest, Mark, we've all done that, right? In the past, I also have experience thinking that buying another solution will solve all the issues.
Yeah.
I mean, you just have another solution in the bad process. And these are the hard lessons that we learn, and there is investment in that. And for sure, you didn't solve the problem and you have just another application to use. So these are the lessons learned. I think we have to keep in mind constantly when discussing which solution, if a solution, and when to go into the investment of buying new, either AI tool, either whichever solution on the market that we need. So start with the process, do the homework on the process, and then see what you actually need. Yeah.
And I guess with AI, with great power comes great responsibility, in that you're trusting these tools to make decisions, to create processes, do things a new way, and eventually you're going to put them in the hands of customers who might be quite fearful of the transparency or the ethics or whatever it might be that's powering it. How did you have those conversations and cross those barriers at your bank, and how did you set yourself up so that you had the right policies and the right governance in place to allow yourself to comfortably sit there and go, you know what, we're good with this, and we can show auditability, we can show traceability? Yeah,
I would say for us, the smart decision was the decision, okay, let's try with the AI. Try in a manner that only affects internal processes at the beginning.
Go internal first.
So don't go towards clients at the beginning. Have a solution, or either from the partner or either we build it ourselves, that we really understand how it works. So for now, we are in the production with a solution that actually demands training the modules. So you train them. You train them with your data. You train them. And we still have a human in the loop, to be honest.
And that's interesting.
It's not end-to-end.
You need it still.
We still have a human in the loop. We need to be really sure and comfortable whenever the day comes to say, okay, this doesn't need to be monitored anymore. I don't know when this will happen, but for sure efficiency is much better in the processes where we have it. But we were aware that the human will still be in the loop.
I think it's. I think you're spot on. Having an internal focus first. It goes back to what you said about before, that modular approach, cutting it into pieces, little business case, little use cases that we can trust and get internal buy-in, senior buy-in, colleagues buy-in, people using it, people trusting it, and you get momentum. And then you start to look at, okay, how do we start to deploy it in more customer-facing places where it's not replacing humans, it's empowering humans, for want of a better word, because banking, over generations, it's always a relationship between customer and bank. Mine goes back, as I said, like nearly 65 years in my family, so it's still quite personal.
And the trust is the key word.
And the trust is the key word. So it's the marriage, it's the balance between AI and human, making sure that the AI does maybe the mundane, the repetitive, as you say, the kind of robotic piece, but then frees up the banker, the bank, to show that empathetic, the relationship, the personal touch, human touch side of things. And I think if you get that balance right, that marriage right, that's where you're going to create USPs and succeed in your market.
Yeah, I agree completely. This is why we are on the path as we are, right? Having still human touch wherever we are, in which whatever process we are discussing, building this trust, because I think the trust, as I mentioned now, the most important thing between the client and the bank. I mean, once you don't trust your bank, it's game over, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so this is something that we need to keep in mind, all of us that work in banking industry. And from another side, we are all customers also, right? So this is something that we need to be careful about, and always, of course, be compliant. Make as much as possible on the security. This is why we have these solutions in the closed environments. So no external, no connection to internet, nothing.
Yeah.
It's totally isolated from other things, because we are at the beginning, right? We are using it, but controlled and still really careful. And I've just been in Frankfurt last week on the conference on banking and usage of AI. And I can say that we all agreed that, let's have AI. Let's take it into our processes, but carefully and with the human in the loop. That was the conclusion.
No, I agree. And I guess we're coming to kind of the close of the podcast. So I always like to kind of put a future lens on it. And I guess, what would you, for the Serbian market in particular, what do you think is going to be more important in the next 2 or 3 years? Is it going to be adoption of AI, or is it going to be modernization or just transformation of the core element of the bank? Which one would you say is probably more important, or is it a blend?
Absolutely a blend. I wouldn't say that one is more important than the other. We, in the times that we're living, we have to do all at the same time. So transform, digitalize, modernize, and meaning technology and the culture in the bank of the employees, and in parallel work on the education of our customers, because also the market, such as it is, you've noticed, right, that there is still cash. It's not totally digital.
Absolutely,
So also, I think one of the key things that the banks also have to work on strongly is to give the customers the opportunity to learn and to trust the digital world. The youngers don't have an issue, right? They are there, they are aware, mostly they are aware of all the dangers. But the generations, I don't know, above 50, maybe 60, they need to learn that. And they need to see that the cash is not the only way to go, that you can trust the card, you can trust the phone. So that requires the cultural change, the mindset change, the technological change, the business model of the banks, actually. So I would say work on every possible aspect you can, and be careful, save fast, and everything that comes with it.
What's your one piece of, as we end the podcast, what's your one piece of advice for your peers and colleagues in here in Serbia that they could take away from what you've done in terms of a successful digital transformation or an AI delivery? What's what's the one nugget that you say, you know what, I wish somebody had told me that before, or that's something I've learned, and pass that on to your colleagues so they can have the success you've had?
I think it's a no-brainer. I've said it before, right? Always give a chance to the quietest person in the room. Always. Hear them out, think about it, and see where this can take you in the future. Maybe resolve the issues before they occur.
Mm-hmm.
And work
have
on
all the stakeholders together.
Yeah, have all the stakeholders together. Have the tech team, have the business team at the same table, in the same room as much as possible, right? In these days, we are, of course, a lot working from home, but people do want to come to office, to be honest. They do want to see their colleagues. They do want to have that coffee and
collaboration.
Collaboration.
Mm.
So use that moments to give them into either for a task, either for a project. It doesn't matter. Have them in one room so that they all get to hear the same information, that they all understand that they are a part of the same team.
Yeah.
It's not them, it's not us, but we are all us.
Yeah.
And if that means include external partners also, they are a part of our team. If we are working with external partners, we need to behave like we are all in the one team.
Absolutely.
So two takes from this, I would say. Always hear the quietest person and always make sure people are together as one team.
Yeah, I love that. Co-creation, collaboration, sense of ownership across all the stakeholders in the bank and external vendors. Everybody, the kind of we are the us.
Yeah,
I love that. Well, look, this is your first ever appearance on a podcast. Right?
First ever.
Wow, you've done fantastic.
It was very easy, Mark. Thank you. You did a great job.
Well, I'm now expecting for you to host your own one on behalf of your bank.
And invite you.
And I'll come on as be your first guest. But I think you'll make a fantastic host. But all jokes aside, really do appreciate your work this morning on the panels, agreeing to be, as I said, my next victim on the podcast.
Yeah.
You did a fantastic job. Wish you all the success in your next deliveries. I'm sure they'll do really well, and I'll be keeping a real kind ear and eye on what the future brings for you and your bank. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Mark.